It's easy. I can say it in one word. I said it at the time. It is the establishment of lawlessness in the United States. I said it to my scheduler. I said it to my chief of staff. I said it to fellow members of Congress during the Obama administration when they upended one private property right after another. And I said to everyone, what Obama's ultimate legacy will be is the establishment of lawlessness in the United States. And that's clearly what happened. If you recall, the Attorney General at that time was Eric Holder at the beginning of the Obama presidency. And they announced out of the gate that they would not uphold the American legal definition on marriage. For well over 225 years, we had had the definition of marriage as one man, one woman. And they said they would not uphold that definition. They were going to go with something else. And on one thing after another, if you remember, they sent thousands of pink slips out to car dealerships all across the United States. And they told car dealers, you'll be done now. We're going to remove your dealership license from you. This came from the administration. Or they also upended bankruptcy law, 150 years of bankruptcy law. One event after another, even to the point of saying that the American people could no longer go and buy an incandescent light bulb in their local hardware store. Now we had to buy these dangerous light bulbs that had mercury inside of them. So it was one thing after another. And ultimately what happened, both domestically and on foreign policy, is that we were upended and lawlessness was established through this administration. One of the most egregious things we ever saw, Kevin, was the Iran agreement, when Barack Obama broke faith with the American people and instead struck a deal to strengthen the Iranian regime that was flat on its back, gasping for air. I can tell you that from the perch of the Intelligence Committee. Iran was gasping for air. And so Barack Obama gave them, we found out later, an infusion of $4 billion that he unilaterally sent over to them as kind of a last-ditch emergency infusion so they could keep going. And then we found out later that he was privately constructing the deal with Iran that would infuse over $150 billion, to the point that eventually they dropped out of the back of a plane, pallets filled with all sorts of money, and American money, French francs, Swiss francs, you name it. It was thrown out of the back of a cargo plane so that the Iranian regime would be strengthened, enabled, and be a leader in that portion of the world. Why? Why would an American president take the side of America's enemies? And yet that's what we saw under President Obama. He strengthened all of our enemies around the world, and he weakened our ties with our allies. And what's worse, he weakened the United States of America economically, and he weakened us globally on the world stage. And he set us up for where we are today in Afghanistan under Joe Biden.
Same song, different verse. I mean, we left how many billions of dollars worth of equipment to strengthen our enemy, and we angered the British and the French and everybody else because we pulled out our armed forces before we got the people out. That's crazy.
Well, that's right. And the direct link to today, if you recall, when I was on Intel Committee, the big thing from the progressive left is they demanded that we close Guantanamo Bay, which was the holding ground for radical, violent terrorists. So we had the worst of the worst bad guys held in that facility. I visited Guantanamo Bay and saw some of those people who were held down there. And so remember, there was a deserter, Bo Bergdahl. And President Obama effected a trade whereby we took the 5 worst terrorists that we were holding. We released them out, not we, Barack Obama released these terrorists out of Guantanamo Bay together with $5 billion. And we released them to Qatar they pinky promised that they would be good boys and they wouldn't go back to their terrorist ways. Well, one of those 5 leaders today was the mastermind behind the collapse and the takedown in Afghanistan. And he will now be, in all likelihood, the new president or emir of Afghanistan. The same individual whom we held behind bars and Barack Obama gave with a $5 billion check is now the mastermind to take us down in Afghanistan. That's Barack Obama.